Hello everybody and welcome back to another day in the magical moon household. Today it is wet and wild outside and we are in the house. The job of today is cleaning the chimney. We have this beautiful old fireplace which has now been condensed into a smaller wood burner as times have moved on. I think traditionally, I can show you as we go through it. This was used as the main heating source and the cooking place in the house, apart from obviously the bread oven, but day to day there's old hooks and stuff in the chimney. It's now been converted to a wood burner. We are going to replace this wood burner with one that is upstairs. So the one that's in the big barn lounge, which you'll see very soon, is a beautiful, it's a lot bigger and it has a fan element on it so it can actually blow the hot air. We don't use the barn lounge, or we've never used the fire really in the barn lounge. And this old girl, bless her little cotton sock, we've had 7 years here now. Just getting a bit long in the tooth. The back baffle plates burn and the grill's a bit old. We've replaced the glass, we've redone the seals a few times, but to be honest, for everything we're doing now, it just makes sense. Money as well, we don't have the money to go and buy a new wood burner, so we've got a relatively new one up there. As you see, it's beautiful. It's the same make as this, it's just a bit sturdier. So first job is we're going to clean the chimney, which we do every year, and then we'll deconstruct all this, and then we'll go upstairs, get the other one, which we've actually got to also deconstruct. They are very heavy. There's a lot to them, as in weight wise, but it's fairly simple. So get rid of this one, we'll clean the chimney, then we'll go upstairs and we'll get the big one down, and hopefully by tonight we should have the fires burning. Okay, so not the prettiest job in the world, but it's all done. The bottom end, this part of the chimney's done. As you can see on the floor, all this black kind of, it looks like crusty caramel, and what happens doesn't really matter what wood you use, how well it's seasoned, you're still going to get residue. So you've got to keep your chimneys clean, and in an old house like this, we're very lucky to have a beautiful old house, but this is kind of part of living the dream. So we've got it out, I've brushed it all, I've made this used to be for cleaning my lorry, but now I've attached these two scrapers to get on the backs of the stone, and then soft brush just to brush it off. So it's all good. Any flaky bits, the problem with the flaky bits is if they get a bit caramelized, a bit like toffee, they love a bit of heat and they're very quick to start to get going, to catch fire. So yeah, this is a must. And with the new fire, we're going to install it. Behind me, there's this metal plate here, because when we moved here, I didn't realise there was no flue liner in the chimney, and we had a bit of, I think it was not last year, the year before, Christmas morning, we heard this crackling and we looked up, and the guy who had the house before, or whoever had done it, had put a wooden piece in, infill instead of metal, and where the stuff had come down, it had got hot round the pipe and it caught fire. So we were just about to sit down and start enjoying Christmas morning, and it was all hands to the pump, as it were. Had to pull it down, get rid of it, and luckily it didn't catch the chimney. So after that little scare, Daddy Moon made this nice metal plate here, with the hole in it. It's not the prettiest, but it's functional, and it means that if anything drops down or gets near that hot tube, it's not going to catch fire. So happy days. As I say, we're looking to put a flue liner in, or a double liner to the top, but just for now, as we said, money and time prevailing. As it is, we're just going to install the one we've got in the barn lounge. So bit of a tidy up, get rid of all this toffee caramel, have a little clean up, and then I'm going to get Toby, who's big and strong, to give me a hand to get this one out, and then we'll bring the new one in. So watch your space. Okay, so we've made a very interesting discovery. Jenny was looking up, or Mummy Moon was looking up to the top of the chimney, and she said, I think there's a pulley wheel up there. And we've had a look, and there's a pulley wheel probably this big at the very top of the chimney, just underneath the limit, if you like, or where the brickwork is. And there's a little eyelet here, which we thought was to hang stuff on. What it transpires is that in the old French houses, or in lots of big houses with large chimneys, you can imagine all the heat just gets sucked out. So what they did, very cleverly, as lots of our ancestors did, they came up with a solution. And their solution was simple. We have a trapdoor that sits on top of the chimney, and when the fire's running, it's open, and when it's not, we let go of this rope and it just shuts, so it keeps the heat in the house. So absolutely amazing. What a simple but effective piece of equipment. But we were just talking about, Mummy Moon was saying about winding down for winter and how we kind of winterize the house. And traditionally, this part of the house where we are now is where they used to live. So it's very small in relation to the size of the house. What we're in is the old part. So we have the kitchen with the old traditional sink, which at one time or another we'll dig out and we'll show you. There's a lovely old stone sink underneath the window. The other room was the living room, and then there was the piggery with the bread oven, and then literally just the 2 rooms above with the attic. The rest of the house as we have it now is where the barn was. So that was just for cows and for hay, and when it's winter we close off the old bit of the house, so we keep it as it was, and kind of keep the cows there and keep the warm in
the
here.
Kids.
The
kids are there.
That's where they all sleep. But
apart from the littlest, the 2 eldest, they're a bit stronger.
So it's just working with what you've got, and again, it's that whole thing of for generations they knew how to keep it well, and obviously be effective with what you've got. So that simple mechanism. You know, at night, fire's out, shut the trapdoor, heat stays in as much as you can, because this goes from as wide as you can see it here right up to the top. Yeah. Right, so the fireplace here is 6'6" width, and the depth of it is at the bottom, in old-fashioned language, about 2 foot. So it's a big area, and what it does then, it draws up, and it just above where we are now, it goes slightly smaller, and then it goes up into somewhere probably half the size, but that really acts as a good funnel just to suck everything up. But as we said before, great for getting rid of the smoke and keeping the fire going, not good for radiating the heat. And I guess they probably had some sort of way of, they knew, oh, we'll just have the hatch a little bit open or fully open. They probably get a feel for the fire and what sort of wood they've got. So yeah, really clever. I mean, we kind of always underestimate just how clever our predecessors were, but full respect to them because we're obviously we're learning as we go. But yeah, what a pleasure to be part of a beautiful old building, and obviously learning more about it as we go. Okay, so we're standing in the chimney, and there are a few holes as we look up, but this, the most significant piece with this bit of metal sticking back, and Mummy Moon had the perfect explanation that this could have been actually a portal to the smoking room, which was the utility room I spoke about next door. So either or, it's either a smoking tube, if you like, so it goes into that area, and down the bottom here we do have a little forge, and there's a kind of a well or a pond arrangement where they would have kept fish. So yeah, I mean, they were just using everything at their disposal to to keep fed and watered. So that really makes sense. There was a piggery over there, we had the fish down there, so we're thinking
it would have been like meats and cheeses,
back
wouldn't
in
it,
the day,
and
meats,
salamis.
just and as you know, or might not know, obviously that's the whole art to preservation. So one of the great ways through history of preserving stuff is through smoking. So I think it makes perfect sense. It's part of the chimney. It goes straight into that back of where the bread oven is. So that little room, probably a smokehouse. Okay, so what we were talking about outside was that this ring here we believe to be a tie-off for the rope that went up to adjust the if you like, the valve that was at the top of the chimney. So it makes sense. It could have been for hanging stuff to cook, but looking at the big pulley wheel that's up there, it's probably a tie-off point or part of a system which they use. So yeah, every day's a school day. We're up in the barn lounge. As we said before, this is the beauty that we're going to put down where we've just come from. It's not been used as much, well, we've used it a couple of times, but it's not been used as it should because there are these tubes above, and this barn lounge is massive. It's like a church. It's absolutely
100 square metres, wasn't it?
Just over 100 square metres. It's not really man enough, but then they've put these pipes on to blow hot air around. So by the time it gets to the other room downstairs, if you kept it going and if you could keep the heat in, it might take the edge off, but it's not that efficient. So we're going to get rid of this bit, which is the top blower, and we're going to use from here down, sorry. So this bit will just be the fire. This is just for blowing the hot air that comes out before it goes from there. So hopefully when we deconstruct it, we're going to be able to get a good fitting to go on what we've just taken out downstairs. But I think we're going to have to take it in bits because it's a bit of a big boy. the Magical Moons household is we've got it down, we've put it in position, we've got the flue, we've got the baffle plate, and now is the pièce de la résistance en français, which is the cowling which goes round the top. Okay, so now all Daddy Moon needs to do is there's that little bit, it's a little reveal, which was the bit, very tall bit that was up there before. I'm going to cut with the angle grinder a bit out of it so it looks like it's fitted, and like we said before, you'd never know. So we made it, the fire is installed, it's all good. We've got the we've got what we wanted to today. So we moved the old one out, we put the new one in. I think it looks pretty stupendous. We've got a little bit of detail to do around the top, which it got a bit dark and it's really raining, so didn't want to get the grinder out and start cutting and disturb all the horses. So when they're out in the fields tomorrow, we're going to cut the little bit of trim that goes around the top. But other than that, it's been a result. The only thing I need to do now is this wire here makes the fan underneath blow the air round, and like we said before, it'll send nice warm air out into the to the living room. But yeah, it's a good job because we've now not had to buy a new wood burner. We have a perfectly good working one, and yeah, it's been resurrected. So really chuffed, and I think the kids and the family are all going to be very happy, and obviously all the animals. So a good day at the office. Thank you all again for watching, and keep watching, keep sharing the love, and thank you all so much.